Today I have a DIY project for you. I'm going to show you how to make an altered clipboard out of this little mini clipboard I picked up from Michael's. This clipboard is actually a little different from typical clipboards, so if you're going to alter a clipboard, I would suggest buying something like this. If you look, it has little screws here instead of rivets that you would just undo, and a little washer. So you'd take the washer out, and that's how you'd remove the hardware. If you get a clipboard that's put together with rivets, then you actually have to drill through the rivets and pop them out, and then either use screws and washers to attach it or use rivets to attach it back. It's just a real big pain, so I wouldn't suggest doing that. I would suggest looking for clipboards that are intended to be altered. It'll just be a little easier for you, less of a pain. So to begin with, you're just going to take the hardware off of the clipboard and set that aside, save it, and then we're going to cover the clipboard with some paper. Let me get mine out here. I already removed the hardware off of my clipboard. It has a little stain, but that's okay. I'm going to cover it up. And I picked out some paper. This is K & Company's Designs by Amy Butler. So I picked it out. The clipboard itself is 9 inches the long way by 6 inches the short way. So I measured this to be 9.5 by 6.5, because what I'm going to do is cover this with an adhesive and then attach it to the paper. Make sure it's nice and smooth, and then I'm going to trim it and sand it so you get a really nice clean edge. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use Studio Multimedium in Matte by Claudia Helmuth. It is a great adhesive. It's great for many different projects. And this just gets painted on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I wish I had a bigger paintbrush, but I couldn't find my nice big paintbrushes. So I have this doinky little one. You'll have to pardon the sun here. My dog is getting in the way. He's a sunbather. He will lay in the sun for hours and hours and hours, even when it's 100 degrees out. So he's behind the curtain. So anyways, this would obviously be a little easier if I had a bigger paintbrush. Ready to go. What I'm going to do is put my paper down and put the clipboard on top of it. Now I gave the little extra so that I don't have to worry about it being lined up perfect. And that's a really good tip. If you cut the paper too exact and then you put it on wrong and then you have to peel it off again, it's always good to give yourself a little extra room for error. And that way you don't have to worry about lining it up perfectly and beating yourself up if it's not perfect. So I'm just smoothing it out, getting out any air bubbles, making sure it's adhered down nice and tight. If you have a brayer would work really well for this. Just smoothing out the paper. Okay. You can turn it over. You can let this dry for a few minutes so that you know that it's really adhered nice and well. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back when it's all set. Okay, so I'm back. My clipboard has had a chance to dry. A couple of the edges weren't adhered down so well, a couple of the corners. So what I did was I just took a paintbrush and I squeezed some of the adhesive in the middle, and then I burnished them really well so that they would stick. You don't want your paper coming up after you're done. So now it's time to trim off our excess and sand our corners and reattach the hardware. So I'm just going to grab an X-Acto knife and cut through the paper as close to the clipboard as possible. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to sand the edges, which is going to give it a really nice finished look. So now it's the same size as the clipboard. I'll close up my blade and grab my file set. So I'm just using the precision file set from Basic Gray. I've got a couple extra emery boards in there. I'm going to use two different files. I'm going to use the regular one and the round one. So the regular one's from the side, for the sides, and you want to file, when filing you want to file from the front back. If you file this way, you're going to peel up your edges. So just file away, and this can take away any of the rough edges and make it really kind of appear one with the clipboard. Then just brush off any of that paper dust. You've got really nice clean coverage of that pattern paper. Alright, next step is to clean out the holes. So what you want to do is come from behind and with a paper piercer just get right in there. You can come back from the front side, find those holes you just made, stick your paper piercer in to make them a little bigger, and then we're going to come back with the circular file from Basic Gray's Precision Set. And just go in. Again, you want to go down. You don't have to be too finicky with these holes because they will be getting covered up with the hardware. So if it's not a big deal to you, you could probably just use like a crocodile to punch out the paper, or use your paper piercer to poke and then just go around and widen the hole. It's just to get that hardware in. So that completes the two holes. And that's really what it's gonna end up looking like. I think I'm going to do some inking around my edges before I put my hardware back on. So I'll just get that all set up. So then it's time to reattach the hardware and it's all finished. Okay. Now one thing I'm going to do to protect my project while I'm attaching the hardware, it's just scrapbook paper, so it could rip if it's, you know, nicked by the edge of this clip here, and I really don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper. It's actually a note card, and I'm just going to attach it with repositionable adhesive right underneath those holes where that, actually I'm going to do a little lower down, where that clip is going to go. So if it does scratch, it scratches up this card, not my nice paper, and then I don't have to do it all over again. Two washers and two screws. Actually, they're not washers, they're nuts. Okay. My little screwdriver. So this is the tricky part. You can see that this really got, because of the hinge here, there's really a lot of pressure. So one trick that I learned is using a wire tie is really helpful. So what you want to do, I have some mini wire ties right here. Thread the wire tie through the clip, bend the clip back, and then secure the wire tie. This is going to hold the clip nice and tight so that you can screw it together onto the board without it getting in your way. So then we just reattach it. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with all sorts of pressure and tension from that spring while you're trying to attach your screws, and that could be really kind of unpleasant and make the whole process really difficult for you. And I don't know about you, but when things get too difficult, I don't enjoy them so much. So, just a little tip from me to you. Okay. And then I'm going to use, pliers would be good here, but I have tweezers. I'm going to use tweezers to hold that, and then I'm going to tighten the screw. This is where a third arm comes in handy. I don't have one. It'd be nice though. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then go ahead and release that clip, that wire tie. And then you see this is all nicely protected from that card. Remove the card and check it out. Super cute clipboard. You can give them away as gifts, or it can be, this one's actually going to hang up on my wall in my craft space to hold my finished cards when I'm done with the card. I'd really like to, if I'm not giving it away as a gift, I like to look at it. You know. So hold up my cards and display my cards nicely, display little notes. You can put them on the fridge, lots of different things. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.